Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Thursday morning. That means a visit from Tony Calo at the Finger Lakes. Good morning, Tony.
Morning, Seth.
Happy to have you on board to talk a little Finger Lakes for today, and particularly on the weekend. Nice big day coming up on Saturday out at the Finger Lakes. But before we do that, give us a little update weather today, and what are you looking for a couple of days out on Saturday?
Well, right now, weather looks pretty good. A little bit on the warm side, of course, and sun is out, so we're going to have a nice, fast racetrack, and sure hope we get something of the same on Saturday. I know the temperature's supposed to get up into the 90s there over the weekend and some high humidity, so it's going to be kind of some tough conditions, but probably concerning the racetrack, looks like we're going to meet fast, and that's always good.
Yeah, we're looking at the same thing over here, kind of kicking off tomorrow, so everybody's fingers crossed that things kind of moderate a little bit. We'll see how it works out, though. But let's take a look at some of the action for this afternoon before we do look out at that Saturday stakes action. Opener today at the Finger Lakes, a calendar condition claimer, claiming tag 6,500, the distance 5.5. What did you see in race number 1? Well,
I like the 4, all my memories. This good-looking Kentucky bred has made quite an impression in 3 starts here. Should be undefeated over the racetrack. 2 back, missed the start, and was way out of it early, rushed up, seized command in the stretch, but just couldn't seal the deal. So that has prevented him, that race, from being a perfect 3 for 3. He looks like the horse now. Of course, he's got to go through his conditions. He has gone through his conditions, so now he's got to tackle some horses who have quite some resumes. You know, Tyrus has 7 victories and nearly $200,000. Rockstar Charlie, 10 victories, over $200,000. Tricked Out Tux has been going pretty good of late. But if he runs anything like he has, he looks like he could be one of the horses. And I think we'll get a better price today than what we have been getting on him. He's been pretty short, no question about that. And today he's 2-1 on the morning line, and maybe we get a nice outside stocking trip. And let's see how he does today. He's looked pretty good so far, and there's no reason why he can't continue this success.
Yeah, and I will say one last time, an N4L. And I always say, you get up to 3, but certainly get up to 4. That's pretty salty. A lot of horses can go through the whole career and not win 4 races.
Yeah, no question about it. Obviously, this horse really didn't do much at Tampa this winter, but, that's a much tougher circuit, and sometimes these horses just get to Finger Lakes and they find themselves, and, of course, Jim Equilana does a great job. He's going to be tested today. There's no question about it. Tyrus is a pretty nice horse. The horse who beat Tyrus last time, Al, can you dance? He's won like about 28 races. Patron Saint's like a 21-time winner. So, Tyrus was in against some pretty salty competition. And he might be dangerous 4-1. He's worth a little look. He might be the speed of the field, and, so. But I'm going to take a shot with all my memories. I know he's 2-1 on the morning line, and we're not going to get much, but he's going pretty good, and we're going to get a better price than what we have been, so it's worth a look.
Yeah, he is in good form. All right, race number 5 this afternoon, another conditional claimer. This time the tags are 15,000. The condition non-winners of 2 lifetime. They'll go a couple of turns, a mile and 70. What did you see in the 5th?
Well, it looks like the table's going to be set up pretty nicely for the 3. Chica Zoom really impressed me when she won her maiden race back in November. Now, granted, the final time wasn't much, and her fire figure wasn't the greatest. But anytime a horse can win by 10 lengths, you gotta take note. And I know she didn't beat much that afternoon. I'm pretty sure Railroad Indian is still a maiden. But that was against the boys that afternoon. That kind of had me pausing there just a little bit. I was looking at it going, whoa, Railroad Indian. But that was a boy. Chica Zoom had run 2 races in a row against the boys. She did graduate beating the males, and this is her 3rd start off the layoff, and that seems to be a pretty good angle for a decent price. There's plenty of speed in the race. A lot of sprinters on the stretch out. Queen of New York's going to go. It looks like a Sheepu wants to go. Frosty Zen definitely will be gunning from that far outside. Zapper Girl, she's coming out of some sprint. So it looks like the table could be set up nicely for Chica Zoom this afternoon in her 3rd comeback start.
I like it. Let's move on to race number 6, yet another conditional claimer, and it is one of those aforementioned N4Ls. As I say, I think they're kind of salty. This one down at the $5,000 level. They'll go a mile and 70. Your thoughts in the 6th?
Well, Patterson Hill really made an impression to me on his 11th of May victory. He won by just under 8 lengths that afternoon. Now, granted, he has not come back and repeated that effort. I'm not sure why. Normally, Jim does a good job maintaining the form of these horses, but He's given them some decent spacing for this race. He's been away a month, got one work in between, a nice little 3 furlong move, and he was odds on last time and somewhat disappointed. I got a feeling today he's not going to disappoint. And, if we can get anywhere near 2-1 or 8-5, that might be a pretty square price on Patterson Hill this afternoon. He's the horse to beat in race 6. You've got the 2, Harry Fitz. He looks like he could be contentious in this group. Paddy Knuckles is finally placed where he belongs. He's been running in allowance races, and then 7,500 in the 15 and 4 also. He's not much of a win machine, but at least he's going to get a class relief, and that should help his chances. Torchy's done nothing wrong. Torchy's a late runner, and he can close into paceless races, and that's always a nice asset. And Meeting House Road also has a little bit of a look going to the front, but I think if Patterson Hill does anything like he did on the 11th of May, they're all running for second this afternoon.
Very good. Now let's look out at Saturday. Again, really nice stakes card out there, highlighted by the Derby and the Oaks, the New York Derby and the New York Oaks. We'll look first at the New York Derby, $150,000 for New York-bred 3-year-olds going 1 mile and a 16th. 10 entered in here. I think it's a nice competitive field. I'm going to be interested to see what your take is in here, because I was kind of going over the field yesterday trying to figure out what to pull up as a replay for folks to take a look at. You have Hit It Once More in here, coming off of a 4th place finish behind Economic Model in the Easy Goer. You have The Funny Thing, who comes in for Mike Ferraro in some pretty good form up at Finger Lakes, so it could be the hometown hero, so to speak. And kind of surprisingly, this one last time 4th in the Ontario County, and the first 3 in there didn't come back in here, which I found funny, but this is the highest finisher in there to come back. So The Funny Thing, as I said, could have a little bit of a hometown advantage. Extinct Charm comes in off a nice second in the Pegasus behind Donegal Moon last time down at Monmouth for Bruce Brown. Todd Pletcher has Awesome Gent. But Tony, I finally settled on, pulled up a replay from July 2nd, a claiming event actually down at Belmont Park. We're going to watch the number 1, Man of Wiregrass, get it done as the 7-5 favorite in here. Why did I pull this one up? 12-1 on the morning line. I pulled it up because it's first off the claim for Mike Maker. And I just think you have to wonder if this wasn't the goal when they dipped in to claim this horse. And it is Mike Maker, high percentage first off the claim. So at 12-1, I thought Man of Wiregrass was perhaps a little bit interesting in here. But what are your thoughts in the New York Derby?
Well, anytime, we've talked about these 3-year-old races in the past, and I kind of look for horses that have run well against elders. Man of Wiregrass fits that description. Looks like he's kind of wanted to be up near the lead, and I'm not sure how much other pace he's going to have to deal with. I know The Funny Thing's probably going to be showing some speed. Hanku on the far outside probably will go. And, Man of Wiregrass has a little bit of a look. I'll give you that. I thought Extinct Charm was probably going to be the horse to beat. Obviously, that's no reach here. This horse just ran second in a grade 3 at Monmouth. And you talk about a horse being claimed 2 back. This horse was claimed, it looks like, for what, $80,000?
You got it. Yep.
Claimed for $80,000, and maybe, like you said, maybe that was this was one of the things they were looking at. They get grade 3, they run second in Pegasus at Monmouth, and if he repeats that race, he's probably the horse to beat. Looks like some of these horses might have some 2-turn questions surrounding themselves, and as far as this, it looks like he's going to come closing, and that's always going to be good. So he's definitely, I think, the horse to beat for Extinct Charm. He is carrying a lot of weight. I'm looking at the weight. He's got a $124 on his back, so we'll see how that plays out. I thought an intriguing horse from a long shot standpoint could be the 3, Deuces High. This horse ran a decent race in his first look. It was against elders, made in special weight state breds, and sat a little bit of a trip. But, I know that's a 1-turn race, but they went 45 and change early, and he attended it. Now, today's going to stretch out to the 2 turns, or Saturday's going to stretch out to the 2 turns, and he's 12-1. He gets 8 pounds from the morning line favorite, Extinct Charm, and that would be my long shot pick. 3 and 4 in the New York Derby. The 4 is the horse to beat. Going to be closing. He's going to get pace to chase. And of the local horses, like you mentioned, it's hard not to root for The Funny Thing. He's been pretty good. He had a lot of trouble in the Ontario. If you watch the replay of the Ontario County, he kind of had a steady behind Love That Jazz, and they were both owned by Happy Face Racing Stable, and I think that's why the inquiry sign didn't come up, or at least the objection sign. I think the jockey recognized that it was a stablemate. I don't think they were stablemates, but they're Charlie Baker trained Love That Jazz, and this is a Michael S. Ferraro. But of the locals, The Funny Thing, he's been He's been pretty impressive, and he's intriguing. I'm hoping he runs well, but I think he's going to be up against it. I really think Extreme Charm's the horse to beat, and I give the 3 a little bit of a long shot. But
yeah, you mentioned the 3, and looking at that, it's Rick Violet, and certainly off the first start to jump up into this company, you have to trust Rick a little bit. We haven't talked about the Pletcher horse. He could be intriguing. Earlier in the career, when facing state breds, he did very well. He's been out in open company and not quite as impressive over the last few, but he's going to certainly take some action just on the Pletcher name out there. Again, field of 10, I think it's a really fun edition of the New York Derby. We'll see how it shakes out on Saturday. One race later, the New York Oaks. It's the girls' version, 3-year-old fillies, 75,000 up for grabs in a mile and a 16th. And this is only a field of 6. I agree with the morning line odds maker. I think Wonderment is going to take some action, but I don't think that horse lays over the field as the morning line would indicate. I'm not arguing that the betting public will go there. Katniss the Victor slightly higher at 9-5, and I think that one, with the good form for Rudy Rodriguez, will also take some action. But I pulled up the replay of the Niagara back on June 20th. We're going to watch the number 4 Finger Painter get it done. And I think number-wise, I think that horse fits with the 2 short price morning line picks in here. So at 8-1, to me, Finger Painter was a little bit intriguing. Again, as a hometown hero, perhaps. But what did you think in the Oaks?
Well, since you're talking about Finger Painter, I tell you what, if she does happen to win the New York Oaks, Tim Murphy, who owns and trains her, he's a very, very energetic individual. And boy, he gets pumped up when he wins a $5,000 race. So all I can say is if this horse happens to win the New York Oaks, everybody around the winner's circle, be careful, because he's going to come hug you. He's going to bull rush you. He's just a very energetic guy. That would be great. I mean, that would be awesome for Tim. I think she's kind of up against it. She's going to have to stretch out this afternoon or Saturday, of course, and, that's always a question mark with her. She's only tried 2 turns, looks like one time, and that was at Aqueduct, and she was eased. She has some speed she'll have to deal with inside of her. Crazy Love probably will show some speed. I think the 6th horse, Katniss the Victor, is probably the one that we should all recognize. She looks like she's a little more proven around the 2 turns. She's going to be closing in. I think she's going to get a decent little pace to chase, despite the field size being small. And she doesn't really need the pace to be that fast. Look at her race back in late January. They go 49 and change in 114, and she's 7 off and misses by a nose. I think she's the one to beat. It's 9-5. Dylan Davis, I'm looking for a big day this weekend with both of his chances in the Derby and the Oaks.
Yeah, Sister Jackie also in there. So it's a nice day out at Finger Lakes with the Oaks and the Derby. We will certainly be paying attention to that. Unfortunately, Tony, we won't get a chance to talk to you on the recap because we're going live here at Saratoga starting tomorrow.
Awesome.
So the phone guests go on hiatus. But, as I've said to you for about the last month, we need a Calo visit to Saratoga. And if and when you come to town, we want to shout so we can get you live here on the backstretch.
Well, if I do make it, it'll probably be on a Sunday, and I'll definitely give you a heads up. As of right now, we don't have any definitive plans making our way there, but probably will be hard to go 2 years in a row without getting to Saratoga.
Yeah, if we get to mid-meet and we haven't seen Tony Calo, you can expect some texts to be flying your way because we need Tony out here.
We'll see what we can do. I got to talk to the gal, and who knows? Who knows?
All right, Tony, we appreciate the visit, and one way or the other, we'll talk to you after Labor Day.
Sounds good, buddy. You guys enjoy the meet.
Thanks a lot. Tony